Not going to run by anybody anymore, but he's going to be where he's supposed to be in the passing game.
All right, now let's get to the Giants, who will keep Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jackson Dart on the roster. And here's Brian Daboll talking about that today.
You know, I'm happy, like I've said, with a lot of the additions we've made and the chemistry of the group. But again, that's all talk. You got to go out there and do it at a high level when it matters, which is the regular season. But it's a player's game, and I'm excited for the players that we have on our football team.
Dan, Jackson Dart impressed in the preseason. What did you see from the young quarterback?
The most impressive thing was that his tape from college and the things that I liked carried over to the NFL. The pocket strength, but constantly playing with his eyes up athletically. Sets backside to throw a two-man combination, an out route and an in route. But he sees that corner squatting on that out route, don't want to go there. Now I want to go throw the in route, but that safety's driving it. So there's a lack of comfort to throw that football while that right tackle's getting beat. Hang in the pocket, and now take off. But RC, he takes off, but still remains in that passing mode. Athletically, seeing what that linebacker does. Linebacker attacks him, finds that slot receiver wide open in stride. It's a big play. And the fact that he handles the pocket while not just being athletic and running, big deal. Man-to-man down in the red zone. Tight end up top, one safety in middle field. That tight end has a little bit of a post. Hold that middle field safety right for just 1 second. He's going to catch the snap and do that. And now in the red zone, it's got to be 1 through 3, and ball has to be out without a hitch. And that backside green window is where exactly how you want to throw it. Now, I love the height of the throw, but if and when he becomes their starter, that ball can't be here. You know what I'm saying? So I like a lot of this stuff. It's not flawless, but when you're playing against Washington or Trayvon Diggs in Dallas, and you do that, and that ball's not here, it's batted away, if not picked off. So a lot of really good, but still a ton of room for growth.
But I also think that's why when you have a quarterback developer like Brian Daboll, he can have those conversations that this is good, but when we get into the real games against the NFL players, you can't place that football right there.
Exactly.
You know, and that quarterback room, I think, is much better than it was last year.
100%.
Also, another quarterback room that looks totally different is the quarterback room in Seattle. They signed Sam Darnold in the offseason, taking him away from Minnesota, and Geno Smith is Viva Las Vegas, and they drafted Jalen Milroe. Here's Mike McDonald to tell us a little bit about where he goes.
We're going to have plays for Jalen and game plans, and he's going to rep those are the ones. And, however we build the package for him going into games, he needs those reps and walk through and full speed, so that's going to be important. How we do it, who gets how many reps, all that. I mean, obviously Sam, it starts with how many reps he needs to get ready, and then we kind of work off from there.
D. Wood, after hearing what Mike McDonald just said, do you like the way they're going to use Jalen Milroe?
I do, because I think he's going to get a package of plays, and that's going to, it gives him an opportunity to be on the field and help with his development. But I think more so from a strategic standpoint, these two quarterbacks are totally different. We know with Jalen Milroe, he is a very athletic quarterback. And can you imagine how opposing defenses going to have to prepare for not only Sam Darnold, but now you also got to prepare for Jalen Milroe, which takes away from your preparation from the starter. So I love how the Seattle Seahawks are going to deploy Jalen Milroe in this situation.
I love it. Now the San Francisco 49ers, who they play in week 1, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 2 and so on, you've got to prepare. You got to spend time preparing for something. You also don't really know what it's going to be. This is a guessing game in some ways for those defenses. So I love the fact that Mike McDonald is just planting that to those teams. Number 2, who is the Seahawks' new offensive coordinator, RC?
Clint Kubiak,
coming from the New Orleans Saints, who just has this history of Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
So I would fully expect that now you've got a coordinator. It's not just some, hey, we'll see if we can do something. He's got a history of using this type of athlete. Now, Jalen Milroe, with all due respect to Taysom Hill, is a significantly better athlete out in space with the ball. And so I love the fact that you've got a coach that has a history of it, that knows how to use it, when and where, what it should look like, how to dress it up. And now these defenses have to try to play a guessing game early on of how to handle it. And the last part to say is this. This could become the tush-push type thing for them. Like if you're trying to gain any little advantage that you get that is very specific to your team.
I'm gonna be honest too. The spirit of Jalen Milroe is still running in Death Valley this year, right?
He just scored from
they
60 again.
They just absolutely couldn't stop the quarterback run, and I love this because what it also does is during the week. Now, if you're a defense that's facing this team, you have to have two separate game plans, right?
Yeah.
You have to practice differently for Sam Darnold when he's the quarterback, and then for Jalen Milroe. Simply the time it takes to do that is difficult. And now, once they start to evolve and the pass game becomes a part of it, that's also going to be big for Jalen and this offense.
Just imagine in 3rd and 3 situations when they put both of them, Sam Darnold and Jalen Milroe on the field, then how does the defense handle it?
Shefty, you got anything?
Yeah, we got a situation here. I know Jalen Milroe is going to be counted on in certain spots, but I want to be very clear that this is no reflection about Sam Darnold. They are really pleased and excited about the way Sam Darnold has played. They view Jalen Milroe as somebody that can enhance the offense, somebody who can be explosive, somebody who can make plays for them. But Sam Darnold is somebody who's come in and impressed them more than they thought this summer.
I'm going to say this, and sometimes I say silly things. The last time they had a free agent and they also drafted a dual threat quarterback in the 3rd round, it was Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson. And I'm not saying that that's happening right now, but you just never know how a guy like Jalen Milroe can progress, and we could see him replacing Sam Darnold at some point in the future. Become one of the most exciting players in the NFL. He accounted for 29% of the Falcons' scrimmage yards last year, tied with Derrick Henry for 2nd highest rate in the NFL. Both men only trailed Saquon Barkley, who accounted for 35% of the Eagles' scrimmage yards this year. Now, we all know that Bijan Robinson is the guy in Atlanta, but right now he's the guy on NFL Live. Bijan, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Good seeing y'all as always.
Hey, listen, it's College Colors Day here.
That's why we got
NFL Live. That's why we got this.
You got there. I go
Hey,
live.
guys, as you can see, Dan didn't even want to hold up the UConn.
Bijan's like, what's
Right.
going to go to?
He didn't want to hold up the UConn Huskies. But speaking of which, man, I see you have the Longhorn hoodie on. How excited are you for your Longhorns to take on Ohio State in a big top 10 matchup this weekend?
Yeah, man. Well, obviously, like you said, it's College Colors Day. So, that's on Friday. And, I need everybody to wear their colors, as you guys obviously will be. But I think for us, it's super important for this week. Just as an alum, as a Texas player, knowing the expectations that are coming with this game, it's going to be huge. And, I know all the guys are ready. I think this is a statement game right here. And it just happens to be on the first game of the season. So, for us, we go to Ohio. I know it's going to be, 100,000 there. It's going to be loud, but, I think for us, if we just go in there and blank everything out and understand that this is our game and this is going to be, we have to control the environment.
Yeah.
And we gonna get a win. We're gonna get a win.
All right, so before we get into the NFL questions, you and the team, do I get a score prediction? Can I get that out of you?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna say 28-14.
Oh,
us.
okay.
One-sided.
Defense.
I'm gonna say a two touchdown game.
Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill. I see you.
All right. Two-score game. Okay, so to the NFL, obviously quarterback new this year for the most part. Michael Penix in his 2nd season. In your eyes, how does he take your offense to the next level?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think just with him, he's super intelligent. And another thing with him that I think people kind of sleep on is his athleticism. I think he's a very athletic quarterback, and he can move out the pocket. He can run, and for me, it helps me out a lot because he'll take a linebacker away, he'll play a player away when we're trying to get everything going in the run game and stuff like that. But with him just extending plays and using his arm talent to get the ball to all the receivers and myself and everybody that pass catches, it's going to be huge for him. And I think people saw a little snippet of it last year at the end of the season, but now that we got a whole off season with him now and a whole training camp with him, I know that our confidence is super high, not just in him but in everybody in the offense and what we're trying to do.
Bijan, I got an opportunity to be there, and your head coach, Raheem Morris, was my last position coach in Washington in 2014. I see the way that he comes to every practice, the energy he brings, the love he has for you. How important is it for you guys to play well so Raheem Morris can be seen as the head coach that you see him as every week?
Man, it's the most important thing for this program. Like, you know, for you, he's the guy who you want as a head coach. Like, he's the coach that you want, you know, to play for. You know, you want to play for him every single week to the best of your ability, because he just brings so much energy. He's the best dude ever. Like, you know, you don't want to let him down, because he'll never let you down. He'll always have your back. He's always there for you. He's always trying to get the best out of you.
Listen, as we talk about your head coach, let's say you were the head coach of a fantasy football team. Where would you draft Bijan Robinson?
You know, obviously I'm gonna draft myself number 1. Like that's where my confidence is at.
No brainer.
And, and I know there's a lot of people that play fantasy football that's drafting me, you know, high and stuff, but you know, I don't listen to any of that, which is a great thing. I love the fantasy football. I love the game. It grows the game so much. But, you know, I would draft myself, you know, number 1.
I can see the headline now. Bijan Robinson goes on NFL Live, picks himself number 1, and says Texas wins by 14.
I can't wait. Hey, listen, I can't wait to see it.
It's gonna happen, man.
Hey, I got to come to that practice. I got to see you move all around the field. If they're drafting you number 1, that's a smart place to pick you, man. Best of luck this season, and thank you, brother.
Yes, sir, big brother. Good talking to you guys.
Good luck, man.
Yep, thank you.
And speaking of number 1, there's only one big hold-in left. And in case you have...
RC, it turns out that the Falcons placed their starting right tackle, Caleb McGarry, on season-ending injured reserve. He was supposed to protect the blind side of Michael Penix. Now, after suffering a knee injury in the preseason, it's such that it doesn't make sense to bring him back. He now will be out for the year after signing a 2-year, $30 million extension earlier this month. That means 2 teams signed their blindside protectors to long-term deals, lucrative extensions. Caleb McGarry with Atlanta, Rashawn Slater with the Chargers. Both those tackles now have been lost to season-ending knee injuries.
The bright side is this is one of the best offensive lines in football. The downside is, and Shefty hit it a couple times, he is the blind side to the lefty quarterback, Michael Penix. That's a massive deal for a team that wants to be able to push the ball downfield. I think the second thing is, how likely are they to go now and maybe get aggressive? Because there are many ways, like all in, as a football team with a lot of the trades. This is a big loss for Atlanta.
Well, I think what's huge, too, we always talk about the skill players that surround the quarterback, but protection for a young guy like Michael Penix, especially his backside with the way he pushed the football downfield late in the season, I think that's extremely important.
It's a big loss.
The moves that we could see Atlanta make to shore up that right side will be very interesting going forward. But in Dallas, they're still waiting for Micah Parsons to get a deal. And Dak Prescott, who went through this before, talked about it yesterday. But let's go to Adam Schefter to see what he has, or if there's any new news coming out of Dallas.
Well, there is, RC. Moments ago, the Cowboys head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, said he's been given no assurances from Micah Parsons that he will be ready or willing to play in the opener against the Philadelphia Eagles a week from Thursday night. So even though last week or over the weekend, Schottenheimer suggested that he believed Parsons would play in the opener, now he's been saying that he doesn't know, essentially, that nobody's told him whether Parsons will play, and I think it remains a mystery. Essentially, we still have not seen Micah Parsons practice yet. His back supposedly is still tight. And so if his back is tight, he hasn't practiced. If he even could play next Thursday night, I'm sure it would be in a limited fashion at best, and that's even if he plays. And Brian Schottenheimer said moments ago, he's been given no assurance that he will.
Well, you know, nothing heals